Startup crisis management and response strategy. Startups are synonymous with innovation and growth, yet they are simultaneously exposed to various unpredictable risks and crises. From funding shortages and critical personnel departures to product defects, legal disputes, and reputational damage, a single crisis can threaten the very existence of a company. Therefore, for startups, preparing a crisis management and response strategy is not an option but a necessary process for survival. The nature of startup crises. Unlike large corporations, crises in startups can be more devastating due to their relatively smaller scale and limited resources. Early-stage startups lack financial, human, and systemic stability, making them vulnerable to even minor shocks. The main types of crises include financial crisis, depletion of funds due to failed investment rounds, unexpected cost increases, or deteriorating cash flow. Product service crisis, loss of market trust due to critical defects in core products. Service interruptions, or an overwhelming flood of customer complaints. Reputation crisis, damage to the corporate image due to negative public opinion. Spread through media reports, social media, accusations of abusive behavior, or misguided marketing. Human resources crisis, organizational breakdown due to sudden departure of key personnel. Internal conflicts, or hiring difficulties. Legal regulatory crisis, legal sanctions resulting from personal data breaches, copyright infringements, or increased regulation on new technologies. External environment crisis, business paralysis due to unpredictable external factors such as pandemics, economic downturns, or natural disasters. Importance of crisis management. Systematic crisis management enables a startup to effectively prepare for threats, minimize damage when a crisis occurs, and ultimately transform crises into opportunities for growth. It plays a decisive role in enhancing a company's resilience, maintaining trust with investors and customers, and solidifying the foundation for long-term growth. Agile response in a crisis situation serves as a measure of a company's resilience. Startup crisis management and response strategies. Effective crisis management should encompass the entire process, preventing crises before they occur, responding promptly and systematically when they happen, and preventing recurrence and making improvements after the crisis has passed. Crisis prevention and preparation phase. Identify and assess potential risks. Periodically identify potential internal and external risk factors and evaluate the probability of their occurrence and their ripple effects. It is advisable to use a risk checklist covering various aspects such as finance, operations, human resources, technology, legal, and reputation. Establish a crisis management plan document. Specific response plans, contingency plans for identified risks. Clearly define who will do what role, and by what procedure if a crisis occurs. Include communication channels, responsible parties, and alternative solutions. Form a crisis response team. Designate a dedicated team in advance, composed of key personnel, including decision makers, to enable swift response in a crisis situation, and clarify their roles. Periodically conduct simulation drills to check response capabilities. Secure a financial safety net. Secure sufficient emergency funds runway to prepare for unexpected expenses or revenue declines. It is also good practice to identify various funding sources in advance. Cultivate a transparent and sound corporate culture. Build trust with employees and external stakeholders through transparent and ethical management practices. This helps to reduce unnecessary misunderstandings and strengthen internal cohesion. During a crisis response and execution phase. Rapid and accurate situation assessment immediately upon a crisis. Ascertain the accurate facts and quickly analyze the anticipated extent and impact of the damage. Hasty judgments based on uncertain information can worsen the situation. Manage communication channels. Deliver clear and consistent information to internal employees to alleviate anxiety and encourage cooperation. To external stakeholders, customers, investors, partners, media, etc. Explain the situation with a responsible attitude. Minimize misunderstandings and strive to restore trust, especially in the age of social media, where misinformation can spread rapidly. It is crucial to clearly convey facts through appropriate channels. Minimize damage and prevent spread immediately. Implement the contingency plan to prevent the crisis from spreading and minimize damage. For example, take concrete measures such as product recalls, temporary service suspension, or activating a legal response team. Speed and accountability in decision-making. Leaders must make prompt and decisive decisions in a crisis situation, and take responsibility for those decisions. Sometimes, difficult decisions may need to be made, Crisis recovery and learning phase. Thorough root cause analysis and recurrence prevention. After the crisis has ended, thoroughly analyze what went wrong, what was done well, and what was done poorly. Develop specific improvement plans to prevent recurrence, and reflect them in the system. Reputation restoration efforts engage in long-term efforts to restore the company's damaged reputation due to the crisis. Continuously demonstrate sincere apologies, responsible compensation, and improved conduct to rebuild trust. Organizational learning and growth ensure the entire organization learns from the lessons gained during the crisis, and further enhance the crisis management system. This strengthens the company's resilience and improves its preparedness for future threats. For startups, crises are an unavoidable reality, but through systematic and agile crisis management strategies, they can overcome crises and even emerge stronger. It requires a wise attitude that manages the entire process, from pre-preparation to post-recovery, in an integrated manner, seeking growth opportunities amidst crises.